Hey there guys, Brandon coming to you today from Nags Head, North Carolina, on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. I did not record a video yesterday, sorry about that. So yesterday's training basically consisted of me traveling all day, being up since 4 a.m. Colorado time. I actually did get a chance to meet Hampton Runner. So if you are on Twitter, check out twitter.com/HamptonRunner. Really great guy. It was really great to meet you, Eric. So thank you so much. Had a really short run. I intended it to be a little bit longer, but I was exhausted, and just the time of day with dinner and everything with my family kind of got away from me. Now today, we're here in lovely North Carolina, which you can see the beach and the ocean behind me. I'm sitting on the beach right now. Today what I did was a swim. Wasn't super long, it was about 30 minutes. What's interesting is that the current, so we're facing east is behind me, okay? So west is that way, south is that way, north is that way. So the current here, at least right now, and including the wind, is running south to north. Now, what's interesting about that is that it took me it took me about 15 or 20 minutes to swim that direction, the way that I was going, and then to make it back to where I started, it took about 6 or 7 minutes back in this direction. So I did a little bit more add on to that to hit the 30-minute mark, but it was very interesting because the current really affected that, and the wind a little bit too. And so my training tip for today is actually going to be about swimming in choppy water, because you can see right now it's not just the waves that you can see behind me, but it's also the fact that if I was in it, you could see a little bit better. It's quite choppy. So what I found was when I was swimming, especially against the current, that a lot of the waves that were hitting me, that were really throwing me and basically making my swim that much harder, were coming from offshore, onshore. So they were coming inward. And it wasn't just, yes, I know that waves come that direction, but it was the chop that was coming with it. And the way that I dealt with that was mainly breathing as I was heading south, breathing on my left side, so looking out at the water. That way, I wasn't surprised by what was coming, because I found that if I was breathing, kind of either bilaterally breathing or breathing and looking at shore and sighting myself up the shore, what wound up happening was that I was kind of really twerking my shoulders, really twerking or tweaking my shoulders quite a bit, because I was being surprised by these mini waves in the middle of the big waves that were kind of really either tossing me down or kind of, just making me very uneven. So I would advise you to, yes, sight on your right hand side or sight straight ahead to figure out where you are. Well, sight on the beach side, but in general, whichever side the current is coming from, whichever the side the chop is coming into you, make sure that's the primary direction that you're looking, so you're not surprised by these things. So it was a really good swim. Not terribly long. The water right here is 78 degrees right now, so I brought my wetsuit with plans of using it, but there's no need because the water is just spectacular. I swam about, I'd say 100 yards offshore, kind of in a trough a little bit. So the way that the beach a lot of time works here at the bottom, so it's about 20-30 yards out, it's fairly shallow, then there's a bit of a trough, and then you wind up at a sandbar. So I was across that trough area, and it was a really nice swim. Tomorrow my plan is to get up early and go for a nice run, not on the beach. I'm not a huge fan of running on the beach, even down by the water. I'm just not a fan. I think it's something about the ground giving away from me like that I don't like. But anyway, I plan on finding a nice spot to run. It's going to be a really solid run. So again, thank you guys so much for following. You guys are giving a lot of great feedback. The majority as of right now seems to be that you guys want to see episodes of this on like a Monday and then a Friday. So you're getting, one of the comments was they want a bigger picture or that big picture feeling of how the training is going versus me really putting up an episode every day. Now there was somebody who did mention that they wanted to see an episode every day because it's kind of shorter and more digestible. However, and with all due respect to that person that said that, I think that I'll probably stick with the longer format, but I'm toying with the idea of putting time markers at the bottom. So if you may see those right now. If you look down at the time markers, you may see like this day, or this day. Now, of course, I'm recording one video today for 2 days, so it'll only be a couple days, but regardless, the point is there'll be a way for you to click into the YouTube timeline to skip ahead and see what's going on in case you didn't want to watch the whole thing. So again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hey guys, it's Brandon, day 2 in the Outer Banks. I can't remember today's date off the top of my head, so just bear with me. It's Monday, whatever that means. So today was my first run day, and it was a little rough. It's a little breezy, as you can see behind me, but right now I would imagine it's probably about 93 or 4 degrees in the sun, and about 80% humidity, and it's pretty seldom that I actually kind of crap out on a run, and I crap out on a run. So the plan was to go 30 minutes, just for an hour, 30 minutes south and then 30 minutes back north. So 30 minutes south is that way, and as you can see by the flag behind me, that's into a headwind, and I have a tip about that works for me personally that I'll talk about in a second. And then turn around and flip it back. Well, since the beach road is going north-south, and since all the buildings here are pretty low, because they're mainly houses and things like that, it was direct sun the whole time, and so stupid hot, so crazy hot in the sun. So it is the afternoon, it's about 4:30 or so when I'm doing my run. A little change of venue, but anyway, I actually had to crap out on the run today. I got 15 minutes south, and then decided that it was too much. I mean, I was getting a blister in between my big and second toe, and that's no good. So, because I didn't want to get like a full-on blister, I could feel this kind of chafing happening in between there. Normally it's not a problem for me, but because I've spent the last day, well, all day today prior to this point, in the sand and salt water, I feel like my skin was a little sensitive. So I'll be wearing Injinjis from here on out for runs on this trip, just to be doubly sure, because I don't need to derail anything by getting blisters in between my toes. So anyway, I don't really want to talk about the run too much. I told you guys I'd be sharing the high points and the low points of this kind of journey toward Ironman Chattanooga, and this is a pretty low point. I thought my fitness would be better coming to sea level and running like this, but apparently not as much as I thought. This heat and humidity really, it hit me like a ton of bricks. So anyway, the tip that I was going to give today about the run is, if you have a choice to run into a headwind or run into a tailwind, and you're doing basically an out and back on your run, what I prefer to do, and what I did not do today because I forgot about this, it's something that I was really religious about a while ago, and then just kind of got out of that practice because I do more loops now, so it's not such a big deal. But if you're doing it out and back, and there's going to be a headwind at some point, I would recommend running with the tailwind first. Now, that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but to me, the way that it works is, I'm going to go with the tailwind first, and I'm going to heat up, I'm going to get hot. And then when I'm coming back, I've already warmed up and probably become way too hot, and I'm going to need that evaporative effect of having a headwind really making me cool down. Otherwise, like today, the way back, you know, I crapped out after 15 minutes, but I still had to run the 15 minutes back to the house here, and it was just so much more painful because I was running with a tailwind, and it was basically like running still in a sauna. So no fun. So that's my tip for today. Sorry for the kind of crappy attitude. I hope it improves tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a swim, another swim out in the water here. I may try to get it in early so it's not quite as choppy, but anyway, low points and high points. Everybody's got them in training, and this is